Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette spoilers. Does Chock go home this week? Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is well on her way to finding love again. She has some incredible men who are getting to know her better. One of those men is Chock Chapel from Wichita, Kansas. He was the lucky man who also got the first one-on-one date with Joan. They had a blast together at Disneyland. Things between seem to be great, but now for the upcoming episode preview, it looks like Chock leaves. What happens? Keep reading to find out all the spoilers. Warning: spoilers for this season of the Golden Bachelorette ahead. Does Golden Bachelorette contestant Chock Chapel leave? There is an explosive episode ahead for Joan Vassos on the Golden Bachelorette. Previews for this Wednesday night show the men with special guest Caitlin Bristowe in Las Vegas. The men on the group date will be taking it all off for a good cause. The men will act as Chippendale dancers to raise money for cancer research. However, it is not the strip show that has everyone talking. It's the part where Chock Chapel says he is leaving. He is seen in the preview saying it's a fear of his and he doesn't know if he can do this. It shows him telling the other men he is going to leave. Chock also tells Joan he appreciates her more than she will ever know. He then gets into a waiting SUV. Is that the last of Chock? According to spoiler guru Reality Steve, it is not the last fans will see of Chock. Steve revealed on his daily podcast that he does not know exactly what happened that led to this departure. Now in a new preview, it seems Chock has to leave for a family emergency. His mother has stage 4 cancer and something happens that leads him to return to her. Joan says in the preview that if he doesn't come back, it will change everything for her. The good news is that he will be back. There are scenes in Tahiti that clearly show Chock there. The only ones who went to Tahiti are the final 3. Therefore, whatever happens isn't permanent as Chock does go to the fantasy suites with Joan Vassos. Do not read if you do not want to know how far CHOC can make it. Reality Steve released final rose ceremony spoilers for Joan Vassos' season of the Golden Bachelorette. At first, he had it wrong. However, he found the correct information about who Joan chooses. According to Steve, Joan chooses to give her final rose to Chock Chapel at the end of her journey. While Steve is unsure if they got engaged, he is leaning more toward believing they did. He said he's heard rumblings that indicate an engagement happened. The much-anticipated reality show Golden Bachelorette has kept fans on the edge of their seats, especially as the contestants inch closer to winning the heart of the stunning, mature Bachelorette Janet. Each week has brought more drama, emotional highs, and shocking eliminations. But as we enter this crucial week, the big question that seems to be on everyone's mind is, does Chock go home this week? Let's dive into the latest spoilers, clues, and theories that might hint at what's coming for Chock, one of the fan-favorite contestants. A quick recap of last week's drama. Before we delve into Chock's fate, let's take a quick look at what happened last week. In a shocking turn of events, Paul, another strong contender, was sent packing after a very emotional rose ceremony. Paul's connection with Janet seemed rock solid, but their relationship hit a snag during the compatibility quiz challenge. The moment Paul failed to remember Janet's favorite type of wine, red, not white, the mood shifted. Janet wasn't having it, and the crack in their bond became too wide to fix. Chock, on the other hand, seemed to fare better. His easygoing attitude and quirky humor shined during a spontaneous karaoke night with Janet, where they belted out some classic rock tunes together. It seemed like their connection was growing, but Janet's body language also suggested that she's still holding back when it comes to Chock. Now, with only a few men left vying for Janet's heart, everyone is wondering if Chock's charm will keep him around for another week or if his journey is about to come to an abrupt end. Chock's journey on the show so far. Chock has been a standout contestant since day one. With his salt and pepper hair, rugged good looks, and a sharp sense of humor, it's no wonder why Janet took an immediate interest in him. As a former high school football coach, Chock brings a certain warmth and charisma to the group that has made him a favorite not only with Janet, but also with the other contestants. Despite his likable persona, Chock hasn't always been in the spotlight when it comes to one-on-one time with Janet. He's had his fair share of group dates, but meaningful moments between him and the Bachelorette have been limited. While he isn't one to stir up drama, there have been subtle tensions bubbling under the surface, especially with Gary, another frontrunner, who seems to feel threatened by Chock's easy rapport with Janet. Over the weeks, fans have watched as Chock and Janet have shared some light, playful banter, but there's been a noticeable absence of deep, emotional conversations between them. Could this lack of vulnerability be Chock's downfall? Clues from the previews. A date gone wrong. If the sneak peeks for this week's episode are any indication, Chock may not have the smoothest date ahead. The preview teases a high-stakes one-on-one between Chock and Janet, complete with a romantic dinner under the stars. While this sounds perfect on paper, things seem to take a turn for the worse. At one point, we see Janet looking visibly upset, with Chock trying to console her. Could Chock say something that rubs Janet the wrong way? Or is it simply a case of miscommunication? Either way, the promo suggests that this date might be a make-or-break moment for Chock. Adding fuel to the speculation, an insider from the production crew hinted that this week's rose ceremony will be one of the most emotional yet, with Janet struggling to make a decision between two of her top suitors. Although the insider didn't reveal specific names, it's not hard to imagine that Chock could be in the hot seat. Fan theories. Is Chock really in danger? Fans of Golden Bachelorette have been busy analyzing every scene and interview to figure out who might be heading home next. Many are concerned about Chock's future on the show, especially given the lack of deep connection between him and Janet. One popular theory making the rounds on social media is that Chock's easygoing personality might be his undoing. Some viewers have suggested that while Chock is fun and likable, Janet might be looking for something more serious and emotionally intense at this stage in the competition. I love Chock, but he's always been more of a buddy than a romantic interest, one fan tweeted. I think Janet needs someone who's willing to open up and show vulnerability, and Chock just hasn't done that. Another theory gaining traction is that Chock could be eliminated in a surprise double elimination. There are still several strong contenders left, and Janet could decide to make a bold move by sending home not one but two men. If that happens, Chock might be one of the unlucky ones. However, not all fans are convinced that Chock's days are numbered. Some believe that the tension in the preview is a classic reality TV misdirection. These fans argue that Chock's lighthearted nature might actually help him in the long run, as Janet could be craving someone who doesn't take things too seriously after the intense breakups with other suitors. Chock is the kind of guy you need when things get tough. One fan wrote on a popular Golden Bachelorette forum, "He's steady, he's fun, and he's not going to make Janet feel pressured. I think he'll stick around." Spoiler alert. Does Chock go home? Now, for the moment of truth. Does Chock go home this week? According to several reliable spoiler sources, Chock's future on Golden Bachelorette is hanging by a thread. While Chock and Janet do share a heartfelt moment during their one-on-one date, it reportedly doesn't go as well as Chock hoped. Insiders claim that Janet begins to question whether Chock is truly the right match for her, especially as she compares him to some of the other men still in the running.